we take a look at our EcoPark Automotive Grand Prix 500 betting card, we can go ahead and add Joey Logano to our list of drivers to never bet again. Not only did he not compete for the win, but he couldn't crack the top 10 and ruined our best bet on the day. Tyler Reddick looked impressive once again, finishing inside the top 10, running there pretty much exclusively throughout the day, while Kurt Busch couldn't find anything and ran into a bunch of issues, finishing outside the top 30. Chase Elliott is finding his groove on the season, finishing 4th this weekend, and he finished 25 spots ahead of our Kyle Larson, who we had picked over Chase Elliott for our driver matchup. We can throw that betting card in the trash, and we're on to Richmond, Virginia this week for the Toyota Owners 400. So here's my entire betting card for that race. Starting my betting card like I always do with a couple of top 10s, and beginning with Austin Dillon at plus 115. When looking at his 2022 results, it's pretty deceiving considering he's had 2 poor results over at the super speedways, but outside of those races, he's actually ran pretty well. He has an average finish of 8th in the 4 other races, and he's coming off of a 10th place finish in Austin. He's traditionally ran really well at Richmond, and at plus money, this is a number I just couldn't pass up. The next guy on my list is Eric Almarola to top 10 at minus 105. Almarola has a pretty good history of performing at these kinds of tracks at both Phoenix and New Hampshire and Richmond, with Phoenix and New Hampshire being really good, including his lone victory coming in 2021 at the New Hampshire track. He has an average finish of 13th at Richmond, Virginia since 2018, or over the last 7 races here, and 3 of those were top 10s, with 1 being a top 5. He hasn't performed very well in 2022 over the last 2 races, but prior to that, he had an average finish of 12th over the first 4. Almarola is always somebody who, if he can avoid trouble, is a threat to crack the top 10. Moving on to my driver matchup of the week, I'm going to go with old man Kevin Harvick at minus 112 over Alex Bowman. Yes, Alex Bowman has won a race this year, and Kevin Harvick hasn't won one since 2020, but Harvick's been the more consistent of the two, even while Alex Bowman has a victory this year. Harvick at Richmond throughout his career has been really good and has finished outside the top 10 just once over the last 7 races. Alex Bowman, in the meanwhile, has a victory here, which came last spring, but outside of that, every other race, being the 6 other ones, were 9th or worse finishes. Moving on to the required weekly outright pick of the race, I'll start by saying I will be peppering the board with a little bit of Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, and because I like to bang my head against the wall, Christopher Bell, but I'm going with a bit of a surprise here and picking the old man Kevin Harvick to win at plus 1800. He was top 5 in speed rating at Phoenix just a couple of weeks ago, which is considered a very comparable track, and he's as consistent as they come at avoiding trouble at these kinds of races. He's always running near or inside the top 10, and pretty consistently near or inside the top 5 at these short or intermediate flat type tracks. Moving on to my best bet, I'm headed to the race favorite, but going with Chase Elliott to top 3 at plus 230 instead of taking him on the outright. Elliott is just simply one of the best drivers in the Cup Series, and this is reflected by his top overall driver rating according to NASCAR.com. He has an average finish of 7.5 over the last 4 races in the 2022 season, and at Richmond, he's ran really well in the last 3, with 2 of those being inside the top 5. He's one of the best drivers and the race favorite this week, and somebody who, when you can get any kind of value at these 3rd or top 5 numbers, is somebody to consider on a weekly basis. Hopefully the betting card turns out a lot better than last week's did, and if you want to tail or fade any of these picks, make sure you head over to FanDuel Sportsbook, where you can still get $150 on any $5 March Madness wager. There's only 3 games left, so this is expiring soon. Good luck on all of your Toyota Owners 400 wagers, and I'll catch you next week as we preview the next race on the NASCAR schedule.